Awesome. So I guess what is your favorite topic if you're in a social setting? What do you like to talk about? What kinds of
Um,
things that appease you?
Gosh, there's so many. It's so awkward because it depends on the group that you're with. Like if I'm with a bunch of teachers, then we talk about kids and school and how like funding right now sucks in Texas and how there's the legislature is going through a bunch of bullshit right now, and things are all it's a bad time right now with Texas and education. And it's this way everywhere. Um, But if I'm talking about, let's say I'm with my gay friends, we're always talking about drag. Drag is badass. It's so cool. Again, damn it, another cliche thing, but we have a lot of friends who we go to shows all the time, drag shows. If I'm with family and other friends, I'm a sports guy. I love sports. I love competitions. So it just kind of depends. But competitive stuff, and what's so ironic is that competitive stuff, gay or straight, competing with pageantry, competing with cakes, competing in sports, that's just pretty much like the theme of my life, is to be competitive and to be successful.
So you could definitely say that you would say that you are a competitive person.
Oh my God, yeah. And it can be competitive as a fault. And that's when you compete and you're successful, you put pressure on yourself to be good. You put pressure on yourself to succeed. And, there's nothing in life better than succeeding and knowing that you did your very, very best. And I gotta admit, I'm not always a good loser, but at the same time, if I lose something and the people are around, more than likely, they don't know I'm upset. And then when I'm by myself or with my friends, then we talk about all the bullshit.
So I'm gonna ask you a couple of categories to rate yourself. Beginner, average, and expert.
Okay.
So when it comes to baking, are you a beginner, an average, or are you an expert?
With baking and technique, I think I'm an expert.
What about decorating?
Decorating, that one, it amazes me the amount of progression that cakes and sugar work and decorating has done. I would say I'm an expert because I think an expert also has to be able to teach it. I think an expert has to be able to do something. And here's the key, and what I tell all of my employees: I will never give you a task that I can't do myself. Because if I'm over there taking credit for something that I can't do and I can't reproduce, then to me it's a lie. And so I would consider myself an expert.
So have you ever made some elaborate cakes?
Oh yeah, I mean
Could you maybe show us like one of them and maybe just kind of tell us about the technique?
Yep. That's the one that was on the cover of the magazine. This one right here. That was on the cover of Texas Wedding Guide this past year. Very, very proud of that. And probably one of the most technically, it was a tough cake as far as time and as far as design goes. We recently won the Platinum Wedding Cake Contest here in Dallas, and we competed against the leading bakeries. And for the second time in the past 2 years, we won first place. And where this gown comes from is obviously a replica of a bride's dress. We got it from a magazine, and I don't know if it was Vera Wong or I cannot remember the designer, but notice all the gum paste ruffles, and this is layer after layer after layer after layer of ruffles. And then we started with right here what we call, in the fashion industry with gowns, it's rouging, and this is where they take little bits of fabric and pleat it. And on a woman, the hips are so beautiful and incredible because this line right here follows the woman's shape. And so it's a complete silhouette, it's an outline. It's very, very tight fitting and very snug. This part right here was a fabric, and it was a silk fabric that I found in a fabric store. And notice all the little rosettes. The fabric designer of this, they took ribbon and they swirled it round and around, and it has a little Swarovski rhinestone right in the very, very center. And then, of course, the corset backing right here into the bow. And then actually the top, The top was from a different dress, and the bride, from the bust up, it was a complete pleated ruffle that went up like this around her breast. And so we took that same design and did that kind of top pleating with the Swarovski rhinestone chain right below the bust where that would have been.
You seem very detail oriented and very passionate. So what does like cake decorating and baking mean to you? Like, has it ever gotten you through a hard time in your life?
My first wedding cake, my first cake was in 9th grade. One of my dear friends, Brenda Ball, had just been diagnosed with lupus, and she's still alive and kicking. And I'll never forget, all of our friends got together. I was from a very small community. All of our friends got together. I made the cake, and it was a little brown dog with the little stars. And our junior high was the Dogies, like a mule. And so I didn't have a cake pan for that, so we made the doggies. And it was a little dog, and we took it to her in the hospital. And so from then, I don't know, I just have, there was a period I stopped doing cakes. I went to college, went to culinary art school, absolutely hated it. It wasn't anything I thought it was going to be. Came back home, and when I couldn't afford to go to, stay on campus, and so I commuted back and forth. And being able to pay for stuff, I did a little bit of catering and cakes. And then I graduated from the university with my teaching degree. And then from there, I moved to Midland, Texas, and I stopped cakes completely. Didn't want to do it. I was taking a break. I started doing drag, started kind of living, got away from mom, experiencing life. And I didn't necessarily need the money, but anytime there was an event, I would be the one to bring cake and whatnot, because I had always used my grandmother's recipes, and they're really, really, really good.
So you know what a quick fire challenge is?
Yeah, definitely.
So do you think you can handle one of those working in a group? And do you think you can do one, for a bigger challenge in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, I mean, quick fire challenges happen every damn day here. every Saturday morning we have quick fire challenge, and that's why I ain't got no hair, But yeah, that's what this whole business is about. Something goes wrong, you fix it. You got to be quick, got to be smart, and quick fire challenges, I think I would be really successful with.
So what do you think are some of this is the dreaded question, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses?
My strengths, definitely dependability. My strength would be, I'm not afraid to say I don't know it, but what comes along with that is the ability to be smart enough to go find out how to do it. Because if it's being done by somebody, that means I can do it. My weakness is I take too much on my plate all the time. And so for me to say no to people, and I'm getting better because...
So how do you handle stress?
Wow, stress. It's tough. Stress is one of those things that it can really, really weigh you down. And what I've started doing the past, probably past year and a half, we got a pool. I take time out, go have a beer. There has to be some time when you're not go, because stress affects not only me, it affects my partner, Edward. It affects, my coworkers. I'm grouchy. And so whenever I can learn to balance stress, and oh my God, the best thing, full body massages. I've started getting massages. Me and Edward go once a month, and they are fabulous.